Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I haven't done one of these for a little while, so bear with me. It's also going to be a little bit different to normal. So, as you can probably tell by the title, instead of discussing something that's to do with Siege, I want to discuss Siege as a whole. And there's a couple of reasons behind it. First off, as we all probably are aware of, Siege is in a weird spot at the minute. Player numbers are down. Content numbers are down. Just in general, Siege, you know, it's down on its luck currently, and that's due to a few things which I'm going to talk about in this video. Not necessarily what I think needs to be done, but I'm going to throw my 2 cents in, and I want to discuss with you guys in the comments. So by all means, let me know what you think. The other reason I wanted to make this video though is because it affects my channel. Obviously, a lot of you come to my channel because of the Siege content, and especially recently, I've been struggling to make content, not just because of Siege and its player number issue or anything like that, but work's been really busy. For those of you who don't know, I live in the UK, and we've also been under a heat wave recently, so just being in this room with 2 PCs on and a bunch of screens and all that usual shit amidst a heat wave has been so uncomfortable and just not tolerable for me to sit here and make content. So I am kind of slacking in a way, but it's not just that. It's also partly because I've been trying to do other stuff. Work has also been really busy. These are by no means excuses. These are just reasons as to why my upload schedule has been all over the place. You know, arguably non-existent at times. And also why my streams have been starting late and been cancelling a lot of them and stuff like that. So yeah, so Siege as a whole, what would we do about Siege? It's such a shame. It really is, because I love this game. I've spoken about it plenty of times on stream. I have a lot of fun in this game. I have a lot of hours in this game. Each season I'm finding that I'm getting more and more burnt out. I will say I've had some creative block when it comes to Siege, or content as a whole, I will admit, but Siege in particular, like, typically I know what I want to do when it comes to Siege, but recently it's been very tough. And this brings me on to my first problem, which for the most part I've always given Ubisoft kind of, you know, I've turned away from this and I've not thought this was too much of an issue, but the updates are starting to lack. Obviously for many years now we've been down to 1 operator a season, because we used to get 2, for those of you who don't know. And sure, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You know, typically we get some balance changes along with it. I mean, I guess I'll just show you the most recent developer update regarding what would normally be the mid-season reinforcements for this season. We're not really getting anything. They're giving us an update on the roadmap, which is nice, apart from the fact that some of the most critical features that I think Siege really needs right now have been delayed, which it takes time to make things, I understand that, but at the same time, it's a hard pill to swallow at the minute. You know, they've told us kind of what's coming, which is fine. I have no issues with it for the most part, apart from the delays, but at the same time, major balance changes. We previously mentioned that we've been actively investigating the imbalance of LMG's and Finker's role in the meta, plan to deliver tweaks to them with Season 3. This is still on track and will come as a part of a bigger update to Siege's moment-to-moment balance when we typically release in a single season. This is a big part of the reason why we made the decision to forego a mid-season balancing patch this season. So they've got their reasons, I understand that. But even the lack of content is one thing, because if you look closely here, next season we're supposed to be getting an additional map instead of a new map, and they have stated that it will be a map that we've seen before, but it's coming straight into competitive play, or at least I'm assuming that just means ranked and not just like professional play. It'd be very strange for them to not put it in ranked, but either way. So we're getting a new map to the map pool, which is the map pool I've spoken about beforehand is a problem in itself. But still not necessarily new. And I'm usually an advocate for, you know, you don't necessarily need new stuff. You have a lot of good stuff, and things typically keep rolling out, which keeps the game at least somewhat interesting. But man, that argument is wearing thin. Yeah, we get the new operator. We're getting a, you know, returning map, I should say. We're getting some major balance changes. Apparently the secondary EMP device, which is a conversation for a different video, but I'm not 100% on personally. The updates I do feel are a little bit lacking. It's getting harder and harder to make content on new stuff when the new stuff is becoming thinner and thinner. But the other thing regarding the updates, before, or go back 2 or 3 years ago, or maybe even longer, before a new season, there would be so much hype for it, both from the devs on Twitter and social media and, you know, the usual places. They'd be really kind of amping up new season. And then you'd also have new players coming into the game, or returning players, or existing players, all looking forward to a new season, or, you know, at least when the new season drops, you know, typically player numbers are up, but I swear that time that those numbers are up for is getting shorter and shorter every season. But there's like no hype or excitement or build up to these releases, and I think part of that is because maybe the devs even know that these updates are getting thinner and thinner, and, you know, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that, you know, they're all working hard and hopefully it's all good stuff that's coming, but man, is it a slow rollout. Even just balance changes. Sometimes there is problematic metas or characters or bugs, and it feels like it takes an eternity to get any of them fixed, and it's really hard to sit here and keep arguing for them. I'm a very patient person, and I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes you just got to think, enough is enough. Why is this not fixed? Or, you know, are you doing anything about it? And as much as we appreciate at least some of the extra communication regarding, for example, the finger problem right now, it's always the same thing. Oh, we're working on it. Well, you know, we're working on it. It's coming. Don't worry, it'll be here soon. And it's like, well, will it? It's getting harder and harder to stay excited for these seasons. In addition to the fact that at least the last few, in my opinion, have such minimal changes on the game. The new characters are very good. I enjoy them typically, despite what some of the community backlash might be. But, geez, it's cool to play for a little while, and then it's like, okay, well, this hasn't changed a fat lot, especially because of how a large portion of the community play the game right now. Granted, that changes from season to season, but especially at the minute, I do feel we're in a very kill and frag heavy meta. You've got characters like Sens, who is very tactical and underpowered when it comes to like the gunfight basis, but it feels like they came at a wrong time. So, you know, even I'm struggling to want to play sometimes. Don't be wrong, I still have the times where I'm like, yeah, I'm down to play Siege today, and sometimes I'll stream it for a few hours. But I used to be able to play Siege for like 12 hours. Easy, no problem. And now I can just about stomach 3. And I'm sure there's a lot that goes into that, and it's not by any means just the game's fault. But things have changed, and I'm not certain it's for the better. Going back to updates though, the game still feels stale. We've got delayed features that I think will help with some of the staleness feeling of the game. Like Rank 2.0, I've been excited for since, well, ever since they announced it really, which I think was back in year 6. And it's not till the end of year 7 that we're going to get it, and it's... A part of me genuinely thinks, like, should I just wait till the last season? Am I going to miss that much? Because it doesn't feel like it so far. In terms of balance changes, typically I'm okay with the balance changes, you know. Sometimes it makes you question some things, but overall I think they work out quite well. But man, are they slow. Going back into the balance changes for like problematic metas and stuff like that, they are just too slow. And even little tweaks here and there that you think, okay, well, this character's a bit weak, why don't they buff it? This would be a pretty simple little buff that they could try. and it never gets, or it very rarely gets implemented as fast as what you would expect. And you've also got the test server and all these modes and incentives to try and get people on the test server, which I feel like aren't working. Every time I go on the test server, it's basically dead. It's nigh on impossible to get a game. And you've got all this potential to maybe bolster that, even granted, I know it's only access to PC, but the player base that is willing to go on there and play with new things and test new stuff. And they don't use it for anything big. You know, try the experimental, cool, random shit that might completely change the game. It might make things interesting and bring people back. It might be the shake-up that Siege needs. But we're not getting it. They don't utilize it, and it's really, really unfortunate. Granted, as I mentioned at the start of this video, it's not just Siege that has a problem right now, and I know that there's obviously the devs that are in charge of making and running the game and, you know, actual fundamentals of it. You've also got the Ubisoft suits, which have their own problems going on, but we also have to be accountable. Like the community, I feel like the community has gotten more toxic. You're going to get toxicity wherever you go, but I feel like more so now than ever is the Siege community toxic. At least those that seem to be the vocal majority on social media. Don't get me wrong, they are not the majority of the player base, but those who decide to actually talk about it, or I say talk, but shout and rant about their feelings and emotions regarding certain topics. They're very rarely thought through ideas or conversations, and they're very emotional, reactive comments. And sometimes I think we just need to step back and just give them a chance. Granted, they don't seem to be doing a lot at the minute, or at least not it's obvious for us to really talk about, and whether it was positive or negative to rant about. But the community, I think, needs work. Don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily know how that would go down. I don't know what we could do about it. But at some point, we need to be held accountable as well. In addition to the fact that we are very hypocritical. We ask for new stuff. For example, more planes, a new map, new stuff. And then we moan when we don't get it, and then we moan when we do get it because it's not good enough. Despite very rarely actually learning whatever the new thing is, be it a map or a character or a, you know, a meta or whatever. You know, we are so reluctant to change, but we want all the new shiny things, and it doesn't help. And I think that's something people need to get better at, myself included. I think I'm typically okay at this, but I can definitely still improve. At least for now, I think that's about it. This has been a very negative video, and I'm not necessarily happy about it, but I think it's a real tool that needed to be had. My community is very small still. I cherish all of you that are here and you take part. But in addition to this what would you do about Siege video, I think I'm at the point where I'm still going to cover the new stuff when it comes out. I'm still going to stream Siege, but expect even less Siege content than what I've been making. Granted, I've not been making a lot of content in general. That should change in the coming weeks to get back on schedule. But there are more and more days now where I don't want to play Siege, or there's something else that I'm more interested in, or a different type of content that I want to make. And don't get me wrong, as I mentioned, I'm still going to play Siege. I'm still going to stream Siege. It's not going to be as often, probably, but at least until there is a big change, maybe season 4 will be the big change that we need, but until we get it, the videos are going to be a little bit thinner. I'm still going to cover the new stuff, like when season 3 drops, I'm going to check out the new character, and I might wander around the new map, check out some balancing changes and this new EMP, but overall, I mean, I'm trying to branch out the channel anyway. I want it to be more of a variety channel. I do want to make some different types of content, which I've mentioned in previous videos and on stream, and I'm still working towards that, and I'm trying to get better at doing it and planning it, so hopefully I can try and improve the quality of the videos. But it's taking time, so bear with me, especially with, you know, my real job and my real life and weather patterns that make content creation very difficult and all the rest of it. But thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for listening. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Am I completely wrong? Am I mad? Am I just officially burnt out with Siege? I don't know. let me know. What's your opinion? Let me know down in the comments. As always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. And thank you again for all the support, old and new. I hope to see you in the coming videos. And yeah, take it easy, guys. Thanks.